Okay, since this is our first individual session together, um, this is gonna be like we look over the VOD, and every now and then, when I see something crucial happen, or like I can spot something that's a repetitive error, or something where it's not I'm not sure if you have the right understanding of the situation, or um, just in general deaths or crucial errors. Uh, we're gonna pause there and either look at it again or discuss it, or um, I'm just gonna ask for your thought process so that we can figure out when things go wrong, why things go wrong, um, and potentially uh, we're gonna put some theory crafting in between to give you more ideas or more options um, of why things could be played in a certain way because of how um, like basic principles of the game work. Okay. And please take notes. Also, in the end, we're gonna put all things together again and decide one or two goals you should primarily work on um, up until our next session. Also, because this is a scrim, I might be talking a bit more about synergy plays and team play and where communication should happen, because this is also important for you as the IGL. Which also means for the next one, I would preferably want a competitive game where you solo queued, because there I can be way more strict about individual stuff and ignoring team play and team play potential.
Okay, I'll have to do that.
All right. Yeah. Um, I like the pace that you like go really fast and you try to push point and uh, dive the Ana that quickly. But what are we missing? At least from our own POV.
Where the rest of their team is, I guess.
Step.
Actually, I guess where the rest of my team is, because I did not check to see if anyone was behind me and ready to go in.
Mm-hmm. So you have a Tracer and a Reaper. So can they both immediately follow if you jump in?
The Tracer cannot, but the Reaper can.
The Reaper can, but the Tracer cannot. So for maximum effective dive onto something, your Tracer needs some setup time. You should keep that in mind in case you plan on having her with you. Otherwise, if you don't and like think that Reaper and you can solo kill this Ana, then that's completely fine. But if you want her, she needs setup time. But the primary thing I was thinking about is you don't even know the entire enemy team comp. There could be a Bastion somewhere hiding. There could be a Reaper you're jumping blindly into. I think you've seen the diva or heard the diva. You saw the Ana, obviously, and I'm not sure if you have seen more.
I did see the Tracer, because I was zapping her right coming out. There could have been a call that there was an Ashe Mercy. It's kind of hard to remember the comms.
Yeah, I don't think you saw her, but yeah.
I saw the Tracer.
Okay, the Tracer. Tracer and a diva. Okay, and there you saw the Mercy. Okay, but you don't know the second DPS technically. Yeah, that could be an issue. So maybe some more um, planning and looking. Okay, where are they? What can we do? Where do we execute? Um, because I'm pretty sure you don't have all of that pre-planned before the doors open. Um, so to make sure your team is on the same page and be like, okay, hey, there's an Anna. Can we set up a die for her? Um, instead of just going. I'm pretty sure your Reaper also doesn't follow that quickly. Oh,
Yeah,
he
he
does.
was just TPing in. Yeah.
But
Um,
if you knew they had Mercy Ash on the other side, would you have done something different? Let's say we still dive the Anna, but about the micro.
um, uh, I don't think I would have done anything different. That's the problem.
So I'm pretty sure one of your team is gonna die here,
Yeah.
and that's him. So because you dive out in the open, and you expect a follow from your Reaper, who's TPing in, that gives the entire enemy team like they know he's gonna be there in a second, and they can execute on that. What can you do to help him not die out in the open there?
I can wait for him to TP in first. I could also bubble him.
The to be honest, the order in does Reaper TP in first, does Monkey jump first? It's like it should be pretty simultaneous, and who actually presses first doesn't matter. It's just important. You could what you could very well do is ping where you're gonna jump before you jump.
Mm.
Then Reaper knows you're gonna jump there, so he's getting his TP very close to where you're gonna land. Um, so if you ping the Ana like the Ana was here, then he maybe wouldn't TP where he TPs, but TPs closer to there, and then you bubble this exactly, and that gives him protection. Especially that now they have a sniper. Ash could very much just dink him there. So your bubble is if you play with the Reaper and dive with him, the bubble is not primarily for you. Obviously, if you would die and you need to use it for yourself, use it for yourself. But like this, you create that synergy play.
Okay.
See, does he die? Oh, he lives. Okay. Get the Ana. That's nice. Bit of target priority. When you jump the Ash Mercy, you definitely want to focus the Mercy.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, I notice that a lot when I'm fighting against Mercy pocketing players. I normally should be not Mercy. And
I guess in team play you can coordinate and burst through Mercy Beam, but especially for solo queue, it's like you can't expect people to follow up, and you cannot out damage the beam.
yeah.
So you already cleared the other heals, so the Mercy loses the sustain. Yeah, just like that. Very nice. Okay, um, they're resetting now. We now have defender's advantage. Do you know what defender's advantage generally means?
No.
Okay. So you always get defender's advantage after you won a fight. It has nothing to do with you're the attacking, you're the defending team, nothing. It's just the enemy team has to reset, which means they have to give up all the space, which means you can take all the space, and you have the advantage of being able to decide where you want to take the fight, where you want to set up. That is basically defender's advantage. And because of that, you can quite often decide when to engage, and the enemy team can't because they don't have that positional advantage to just easily engage. Um, so now, say talking about pre-fight positioning, how do we set up?
I would say take one of the two high grounds, either the one closer to their spawn or try and hold this green green building.
Wait.
The one that Pulse is standing on top of. That like I don't know how to. Yeah, this
So yeah, this.
one here. Yeah.
Uh huh. Or what was your other
Or the
option?
or the other side.
Here.
The one with the bridge. Yeah.
Okay. Um. Okay. Generally, which one is better?
Well, if we want to take maximum space, probably the one on the right.
Yep. Um. I'm gonna mark. Let me. Yeah. Like this is also high ground. This is also space you could potentially take. Um. Now it comes to micro positioning. Yeah, where exactly on this high ground are you gonna be? Are you more towards the red one or more towards the blue one? And why?
I would say more towards the blue one because I can. I don't know. I would say more towards the blue one because I can back up into that little cubby easier than
Yeah,
having to use a cooldown to jump out.
yeah, exactly. Um, so the red one is completely out in the open. You have no cover, no nothing. Um, if you're getting forced out, you have to jump out. Like you can be. Let me clear all of this. You can be here, right? You can be looking into their spawn, like harassing them really early. You take poke, you don't have to run, you don't have to drop, you just take this corner. They push this high ground, you can even go into here. Um, Still get heals, and then if they push you in there, you can still jump out into main. So you have a lot of safe rotations and safe corners where you can um, regenerate, like make advantage of your sustain without having to give up the entire high ground immediately. Um, Plus, team play, your Reaper is gonna be with you, and they're gonna have a hell of a time pushing you two out of there. Like, that's crazy. You can play close corners plus high ground, and they have to walk into your face, into your Reaper to effectively clear you. They don't want that. So you don't really need to engage off of that positioning actually, because you get the free payload push and they have to do something about it. So they either have to take that high ground or they have to. So either they clear you off that high ground or they walk into main to contest card. If they walk into main, this is a crazy kill box. Like your Tracer's on the one side, Reaper Monkey on the other side, you just drop into them when they try that. So that's a suicide move by them. But at the same time, they can't take the high ground as easily because you have that close corner advantage and you have that Reaper standing there. Um, so there, you put them in a really bad spot by pre-fight positioning like that. Do you understand that?
Yeah, yeah, I got it.
Plus, they have two people that just do nothing without high ground. And you can also kind of say Mercy because Mercy sticks to the Ash. So you deny half of their team by just standing there, just sitting there and waiting for them to make a mistake, or them doing nothing and you get all this payload progress for free. Okay. Okay, okay, looking good. Uh, so yeah, right here, okay, the Ashes and Anna are making a good move. They take the high ground uh, from the other side, where it's harder for you to punish them. While I would actually say you can jump this corner and hold this here, and they have to peek out to damage you and walk into your zap range to damage you. Um, it's risky. Like, you could get punished, but if you manage to hold them inside that joke, that's still an option. And you deny, like, they sit on top of each other. That's a mistake. So one jump, you deny their entire backline. If they were split, let's say only the Ana was here and the Ashe was sitting here, you can't really do that because now you get crossfired. You can't deny both of them by sitting there, so you're taking more damage. But because if you sit here, they both they don't want to get close to you, so you take no damage from either. The only one that can do something to you is the Diva, and the Diva will get punished by the Reaper. And like you can drop here, have full cover, and then either jump back up if you have enough sustain, or jump out. So yeah, they make a really huge mistake by sitting together in that door frame where you can, like, as monkey, and I mean, squishies in door frames in general, you hold them there, hold them hostage, and they're separated by Reaper. That's an issue. Reaper gets his Wraith forced, taken out. Uh, so after you get forced out of this high ground, those two cooldowns were entirely wasted.
Yeah.
Put that aside. What is the key to winning this fight? We already kind of discussed it a bit.
To deny high ground is
Yes.
possible.
Yes. Because now Payload is getting in between those high grounds, and now they have the kill box for themselves, and you don't want that. So getting access to this high ground and contesting them off of this high ground is what needs to happen. Now let's go a bit more into micro again. Let's say you don't have primal. Let's say it was forced earlier, you needed to use it to live, and now it's the same situation. So can you still take this high ground from this position?
From this position, it would be rough. I think I would have to go that top right where that sign is, and then try and just walk on them.
Okay, that is really interesting and good that you say that. So you say here. Okay. They have long range LOS onto you, and you walk into them, they demolish you. You can't do that.
Okay.
By jumping up there, you don't pressure them in any way. They can stay where they are, and they can bully you actually back down before you have the ability to walk on them, and then you technically wasted jump and bubble because they're gonna force you to bubble here, and you still need to drop. Too much pressure. They You need to take this high ground while pressuring them out. So the Ana and the Ashe especially. So you have to be somewhat close to them so they feel threatened, so they move back. Because even if they move back a bit, they lose their LOS into main, where your entire team is. That's already good. So if you achieve that, not even killing them or going further onto them, if you force them a bit into this direction, they lose LOS into main. One big thing. Um, so, second thing, you have to be able to sustain, to live on high ground. The crucial key to this is their LOS onto you. It's very nice that there are small corners really close to them. So this is the jump you want to do. I'm gonna show it to you in more detail. Leap up, you sit here. They want to shoot you, they get close into zap range. They walk back, they can't shoot you. Plus, they walk back, they lose LOS into main. So by jumping here and using this corner as cover, you win. Even without primal. Make sense?
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Okay. Sometimes it's the small things, but because you're a big guy, you need those small things to live, especially those small corners that using map to your advantage to not take too much damage. Because you being forced out means your entire team loses space, your entire team takes more pressure, takes more damage, the chances of you winning go down. Like, you can take a bit of damage, your Kiriko can TP up here, your Reaper can TP up here, you just, like, look at this, you go here, you plan on walking on them. This is not gonna happen, especially if they have D.Va and the Brig is gonna boop you and like so yeah. So this initial jump is actually pretty good. You gotta work a bit on those juggle mechanics.
Yeah.
Because Primal is definitely an ult you can kill people with. Very small thing again. Maybe you can describe it yourself. So the landing spot is not ideal.
Yeah, I landed. Where did I land? I landed slightly behind, like right in that window, so I could get pushed in.
Yep. So it doesn't matter that the sleep hit. That can happen. We have to anticipate that. And it's not too bad that the D.Va is peeling, because we can also anticipate that. Just how can we live that? We still jump that high ground, we still get slapped, we still get anti, that the D.Va's still pushing us. How can we still live that?
Well, if I had hit the corner there, that little corner.
Yeah. You land here, she can't push you in. You still do all what you want. You hit the land damage, you hit the punch damage on the Ana, she is in zap range, she's forced out. The only thing is, you now don't get completely separated, and you have the easy opportunity to drop after you did the fuck up. So from here, all your team can see you. Your career doesn't even have to TP to you. She can heal you from card, soothe you from card, and you still make all of that space because you pressure that high ground. You force the Ana out. You force D.Va cooldowns. But the important thing, you live. god, the same thing could have happened again, but it didn't.
Yeah,
So
it was basically a repetitive of just beating my head into the wall for
yeah, that was fucking dangerous. I would have taken that fight from main. Um, so like, just real quick. So here we see how they're positioned. Uh, Whatever we saw it. So we see they're taking this back high ground. Um, where's the okay, where's the last one? Tracer. Okay, main. Um, hmm. Actually, let me think.
yeah.
I
Definitely have not played this map enough to know like what the optimal pathing is.
hmm. Actually, I don't think your play is too bad. I thought it was only Anna or Ashy, and the other one was like here. Um, because like you can also take it in two jumps. Like first you take this here, either inside here or that corner again, and that way they sort of look at you being here and maybe a Reaper as well, and then there's less attention on your Tracer, Lucio, Kiriko. Like you all engaging from the same angle makes it easier for them to like keep track of what's happening. Well, if you now like you use your first jump for a soft dive and like space on high ground, now you and Reaper are here, and with the next jump TP you do like you jump here, but before that like your Tracer and your Lucio have less pressure because they now look at you here and try to contest you off again. Um, it's just a small thing, a bit of hidden value. Uh, but I guess yeah, because you can take both of them out of the fight, forcing them to rotate by jumping here again. It's not too bad. That was a very good bubble. Hit that flail. Okay.
Yeah, the call. I think the call here was we lost Kiriko, and I said something like, "I'm just gonna get out. We gotta get out."
Hmm.
So I think that call was probably wrong because then the rest of our team just died.
Hmm. Like you needed to try to go for a first pick there to like equal out that your Kiriko died before they can clean up. Because you can't take it slow after you lost your main heals. You lost sustain. They still have sustain. Which means if you take the poke fight, you're gonna automatically lose. So you have to hard invest onto something, burst something down to equal out the field, and maybe take it from there. Um, that's like the one thing about the most basic thing about mid fight that especially you as the IGL and tank have to understand. Um, if you have a healer advantage, you play slow because you can poke them out, they can't sustain anymore. If you have a DPS advantage, you want to play fast because they can still sustain your poke, but they can't dish out as much damage as you if you like play fast, right?
Mm-hmm.
And tank advantage is honestly most of the time just GG next fight. Oh my god, it almost happened again.
Yeah, it basically for the next 2 minutes and 40 seconds, it's the same thing over and over. Um, I tried to jump in there, and bad things happen.
Man, what is the rest doing? I don't think this is necessarily your mistake. It's just you take that, you get all that space, and you don't move payload. Okay, here you have respawn card. Um, so with this comp, after you've cleared high ground, so clearing high ground is essential because it gives you advantages. It takes away advantages from the enemy. To take high ground, you have to do the jump Reaper TP, maybe plus Kiriko TP thing. You have to dive the high ground to effectively clear it, because walking is too slow. You get poked out, you might die. They have enough time to do something else. Once you have high ground and they don't have it anymore, do you still have to engage by jump TPing? If I ask like that, no. But what's the other option?
The other option would be to just drop on them from high ground, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then I have jump free to be able to get back to high ground if I need to.
Okay. Um, you're you're not wrong, but you're missing something. Um, so what you can do is, you said drop. That's probably the furthest you can drop. She's still pretty far away now. And as soon as you drop, she also moves in the different direction. So dropping won't get you on the targets you want because they will keep their distance.
Yeah.
So
Um, well, if I have bubble cooldown, I could jump into that window and, well, not window, that door, and deny them that area.
okay, give me everything in our team comp that we have to get close.
Let's see. Oh, well, our tracer's dead. So,
But she would have blinks.
but yeah, so we need tracer. Reaper needs to be able to TP in, and then Lucio is there to needs to be able to get in as well, because
You have speed boost. Nobody needs to use their mobility. Everyone just goes with the Lucio speed amp. That's it.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess that, yeah.
You have two primary ways to engage. One, the jump thing, so technically a dive engage, and then you have a brawl engage because you have the Lucio speed amp. And this is your two engages, and this is the two, like, that's the hybrid comp you play. You play a dive brawl hybrid, and you have a dive engage and you have a brawl engage. Makes sense, no?
Yeah.
So that's your ticket, Lucio amp. If you have the high ground control, you don't have to jump anywhere anymore. You can drop and run on them, and the speed boost is your ticket into that backline. Plus, if it goes wrong, you can jump out again because you didn't waste your mobility cooldown. Or, like I said last time, you can potentially just jump up, get healed, and still maintain the space. But that depends. It depends on, okay, did they Kitsune rush to where we wanted to engage and we really don't want to stay there and kite it out again, or would I be jumping back into a Death Blossom or a Diva Bomb? Just, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, generally, if it's just a neutral and there's nothing like high threat, just you take too much damage, then jumping up and resustaining and dropping back into it, just maintaining the space is good quite often. Okay, continue. So yeah, I'm pretty sure we have speed amp, and we're just not. We're just sitting here. We have the high ground, but we don't know what to effectively do with it. That's what it seems like.
Yeah.
What are primary targets to run over? Just asking out of curiosity.
Primary targets in this comp, probably the Ash Ana,
Okay.
and then if Briggs by herself, it's hard to jump her because of the whip shot, but if she doesn't have cooldowns,
Okay. So technically, uh, Anna has the least mobility, so she's the easiest to get onto. Um, but most of the time, if they played correctly, those three are pretty much stacked. Or at least Brig should always be with Anna. If Brig or Anna are separated, they are both ideal targets. Um, but if they're stacked, let's say the Ashe does her own thing, but there's an Anna Brig stack. Who do you focus and why?
um, I got a 50-50 here. What makes the right choice? I- if we can, I guess if we can burst down Diva, that gives Reaper a lot more.
What? Diva?
No.
We're talking about Anna or Brig.
Oh. Oh, I thought we were okay. My bad. It's definitely. I guess it's the Ana then, because she has the most range to heal the rest of the team.
Okay, so let's look at what sort of peel they can both get. So, what does Anna get? She gets Dove, her team like peels for her. What does she get?
She gets DM, or yeah,
DM. Okay, yeah. Does if you dive Brig, does Brig also get DM?
yes.
Yeah, Brig also gets DM. Okay. What does Anna get as well?
She can get. Well, she has sleep. I guess I'm not really understanding the question too well.
Okay, but yes, sleep is yeah, technically also. Uh, if you dive Brig, um, is it easier or harder for the Anna to sleep you?
it's probably easier because I'm not focusing on the Ana.
Wrong, because you place your bubble around Brig, so Anna sleep might hit the bubble.
And then
So,
Nade would also hit bubble.
uh-huh. Okay, we're getting somewhere. And like, okay, let's do it like, so let's say if you're in the bubble and Anna's in the bubble as well, then she probably hits sleep and she probably hits nade on herself and onto you. Um, and for Brig, it's like maybe it depends on how well your bubble is placed, how well they play around. Okay, you bubble the Brig off. Okay, what else?
Well, there's the Brig whip shot.
Uh huh.
Which, yeah, which if I dive on put the bubble, it's she can't hit the whip shot as easily. But if Ash is stacking on top of Ana, she just has coach gun.
Mhm.
So yeah, I guess in this case with the Brig, she has the least amount. I mean, again, she has the whip shot, but I don't know the cooldown of whip shot. Is it shorter than jump?
I'm not quite sure. I'd have to look that up. I'd say they're pretty similar. Uh, but it's like you already cleared high ground, so it's not like she's booping you and you're out of the fight.
Mhm.
You still have like she resets you a bit, but we're already talking about the situation. You have the high ground, they don't have high ground, so you still have the amp after you got whipped. Um, we don't even have the biggest thing yet because Anna gets packs and Brig doesn't get packs. And Brig doesn't even get Anna heal if the bubble separates them. So definitely Brig. Sure, she has armor, but that doesn't make up for all that missing heal.
Yeah.
um. So yeah, good. Good that we talked about that. Are you gonna jump the door frame again?
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely jump the door frame again.
Oh yeah, that's maybe one more thing to think about if we like approach it slow and like soft dive first here and then jump there, because coach gun whip shot. If they hit us like when coming from this direction, we still land on high ground.
Yeah.
If we come from here, we're just gone. So obviously you need to communicate it with your team so that they don't. You jump and they're like, "Oh, I'm in." Oh no, it was a soft dive. I'm not in. Okay, let's rally. Oh, oh, look, Anna lives. I'm wondering how many packs she ate.
Probably a lot.
But on the other hand, Brig was rallying, so that was like difficult to get either. To be fair, but I think we could have done quite a few things different to get a higher chance of winning that point. Let's see.
This one's very rough. I didn't know how to play defense on this either. I just figured we would hold high ground and drop on anyone that was cut off.
Mhm.
But I got our honor kill in the end.
So what's important here that you know where's your Anna?
Our honor was in the room with us.
I mean that can work. Just if she plays further back, you need to understand where do you have LOS to her and where
Yeah.
she just can't physically heal you, and you also shouldn't expect to get healed in those positions. So your reset should always be somewhere where Anna can see you. And then again, it doesn't really. The two things that matter for a good reset position: one, you cut LOS to the enemy team so you don't take any more damage, and two, you have LOS to your heals. If those two things apply, it doesn't matter where on the map you are. So you don't have to jump out entirely or whatever. Like maybe being here is far enough. Even if your Ana plays that back high ground, like being back, let's say the enemy engages this high ground, you cutting back here, or like maybe you don't want to go through that room, so you jump up and land here. That might already be enough. You don't have to give up any more space than that, and you're still pretty far up. So that's also something that you should always keep in mind. Oh no! You want to go fast? She just used coach gun to get up, and now she dropped. She should be fucking dead. She has no escape tool anymore, and you have all the resources to engage, so you should engage right now. Drop in her ass. And if you can't kill her, you still have mobility to get out again. because we have a defender's advantage. So they need to use something to approach us, and we don't need to use anything to approach them if they're under us. But we don't punish her, and now she gets a pick. You didn't drop one time, and their entire team went past. Look where their Ana is. You didn't do anything to stop that.
Yeah.
No harassing, no nothing. It's not even like even if they didn't do any mistakes, they just walking under, you drop into their rotation. It doesn't matter if it ends up in a kill, it might. And it definitely slows them down. And the damage you take goes into your nano charge, as long as you don't int your ass off while dropping, which I don't expect you to do. And now we give them high ground for free.
Yeah.
And use jump and bubble to technically get into all of their faces. Like, that should have already killed you. It's a miracle you're still alive. Yeah, that was definitely just letting them do what they want.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure you have to already be in spawn or respawning when that special thing kicks in.
Oh yeah, I think the player would just go anti-dive, which
Okay. You definitely roll out high ground as well. You can always drop, but you can't always get up. It's like rule of thumb. Okay, you got this high ground. That's fair, I guess. Okay, what's your role in anti-dive?
My role is definitely I should be protecting the support.
So, Queen. What does Queen have to like make it harder for dive to succeed?
Shout the extra overheal, or the overhealth, and then the knife pull.
So the knife pull is like it doesn't really do anything against the dive. So the main thing is obviously the shout. And to make use of that, you kind of want to be close to people that get dove, so you can shout them. So that's why pushing up here solo is just like, what happens if they dive your backline now? How much anti-dive are you? Nothing. Thing is, with your knives, what they do is they're good to more or less good to poke. Because as long as you harass them with your knives, you pull them in front of a corner, your Ash might land a headshot or something. And also, if you only knife the diva, it could keep her on low HP if other teammates also shoot her. Same goes with Ball, same goes with Monkey. Like, you're most effective against Ball with Queen because you stop his momentum and just make him die in the middle of your team. But it's that harassing the dive tank and keeping them on low HP because they don't want to initiate while not being full HP. So the longer you manage that, the longer you delay their dive, and the more pick potential your Ashe, Torb, Ana have. But the problem is they have Ashe Mercy, so they technically have better poke than you. So Queen might not be the right pick here, or anti-dive comp might not be the right call, because they're technically a hybrid. And they can just spam if they want, and at the moment they out-spam your comp. So I think maybe a diva, like mirroring the diva, would have been pretty good. because that way you can have your own openings with nades. You can deny the Ashe Mercy high ground to give your Ashe a slight advantage. Yeah. So yeah, how do you contest that Ashe now?
Yeah, I can't.
It's not like you're doing nothing. You're holding that space, and now this D.Va's in your kill box. But getting on the Ana would have been more effective.
Yeah.
It's just a misconception of what your comp is good against and why you're good against dive.
Yeah. I'm playing it more like a weird brawl.
Yeah. Splitting kills your
Playing
backline.
Hog, basically.
It's like you can play the entire thing as a brawl, but then your team has to go with you.
Mhm.
So you have to call that. Because if you have the option to get like good rotations onto where the enemy positions, then you can out brawl them there, and on top of that, they can't dive you mid rotation as easily because of shot and because of nade and Suzu and yeah. So going for long rotations with this comp and like taking their space is definitely an option. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, you don't see anything, but so you don't know yet where the enemy team is gonna be positioned or anything. Um, but we have ult, so pretty sure that the plan for next fight includes Queen ult. Um, how are you gonna use it? Like, who do you want to use it on, and how do you pull that off?
Probably want to use it on their backline in some form or fashion.
Mhm.
Either by dropping behind them and ulting into the team, like ulting back into our own team,
Mhm.
or ulting like as they walk in, like ulting into a wall so that I don't go into their backline and get punished for it.
Okay, so I agree on you want their backline. Now anticipate they position in a way that makes it really hard for you. Where are they gonna be? Like the Ashe and the Ana?
Well, they're gonna be on high ground
Uh huh.
somewhere, either top left um, or like on this bridge here. Well, I guess not. Yeah.
Okay, so what does your rollout look like when you get out of spawn? Okay, you spawn.
Yeah. Probably go far left through the tunnel on the. Wait, is that actually a tunnel? Yeah. All the way left to high ground. Or is that a really long rotation?
Mm, It makes it harder the closer that payload gets to the finish, because then, like, from here you lose LOS to your entire team pretty much. So you can't help them, they can't help you, or they have to rotate with you, which means if there are people on payload, you're just gonna C9 with this rotation. I think it's easier for your team to position around that play if you walk this way and ult them full frontal. Because now, like, sure, you still take poke from them and they see you coming and they look at you, but because you have your ult, you have that giga gap close, so you don't really mind. Plus, now your Ana can play further back and your Kiriko can play further back, and they can support you a lot mid rotation and after ult, and then your team can instantly push up. Like, they can already be behind you because you make that space for them. If you go the other way, the enemy diva could just sit here and not let your team onto the high ground. So you are that front line, you push the enemy team back, let your team push forward, and be in a position to follow up and ult immediately. Like, if they rotate out so you can't ult them, okay, you have this high ground. You don't even need to ult now, and your entire team has the high ground. But you force them out because they're scared. A lot of hypothetical things, but yeah, that's why I think right side rotation to high ground would be better. But in general, understanding, okay, I want to ult next fight. If they're smart, they're on high ground, so I'm gonna look for rotation onto high ground. That thought process should be there. Well, good that we talked about it.
Yeah, I did not.
Okay, good shot. Okay, you hit the two targets that just don't fucking care if they get ulted.
Yeah.
The diva and the tracer. And man, your aim,
Yeah,
could be cleaner.
not played a lot of Queen, so now granted that my aim should just be better in general, but
Okay, now it's a brawl versus brawl. What is the crucial area on this map?
this top bridge, top left area.
Yeah, like sort of this. Whoever controls this wins. So this is the area teams are fighting for. Like, sure, all of this is nice, but realistically, the team that controls the purple part also controls the blue part. If they just walk main, easy, kill box, no problem. We can drop whenever, we can just chill until we land an anti, and if we hit it, we go. So they have to try to push us out of that purple area, so this is the premium choke we're trying to hold, especially when we're playing a brawl tank, but honestly any tank, but ball maybe. So yeah, you play that choke, classic style. You have the cover, they want to push through, they have to use cooldowns to get through, you don't have to. So to play out defender's advantage here, if we don't get a great opening, we don't push through. We make them use resources to push us. Because the team that wants to push through a choke always has to invest resources to do so. So if we don't have to push through a choke, we don't push through a choke. So the only thing that could happen... Like, look! What is that? you you push through the choke, and therefore you go very low. You're forced to scream. Um, your Ana does your Ana nade you, or like, oh, did Ving need to use something on? Could have potentially naded, could have potentially nanoed because you were so low. So that's like risky. Um, but I guess you have the Torbolt, but uh,
Yeah,
it's still.
I used resources to push through their choke.
It would have been better to just wait for them to push and then Torbolt on them, because then they use their resources and can't defend themselves properly anymore from your like counter push. That makes sense. Man, we need that anti. Uh, I don't think Ving gets it that his anti is super crucial for engages here. Um, so sometimes about those things, like if you look for specific openings for like you want to force specific scenarios to happen, and then you can let your team know that like, okay, let's look for an anti here and get engage off of it, or okay, um, let's look for a fat dynamite and we run if we hit it, or like something like that. Obviously, dynamite is not as nice as an anti. Both would be clean. Um, so we want to communicate it as the IGL. Okay. Uh, One more thing. You see your Torbers with you. What that means for you, you have to frontline. You can't let him overstep you, which means you can't push out because that makes your Torb die. Um, you're full HP. There's no need to play that far back at the moment. Um, you can fall back again if you get low, obviously. But okay, you're 400 HP. You're full. Is that you? That's your Kitsune. You're you're way more than full, and you still let your door frontline for no reason. I mean, obviously, it's also on him for overstepping. Don't get me wrong, but you have to keep that in mind that he wants to like be with you and be that back you up with damage, and therefore you need to frontline for him. Honestly, I don't mind that you only get the Ana. That was the important target, and you got her, so it's fine. One more thing. I don't mind you like primarily shotgunning the tank, but while doing that, the knives you throw, you look for squishies. Because like yeah, you keep shooting him, you keep shooting him, you get knife, you look for that sojourn. If you hit the knife, you can like walk up, follow up with a shotgun and one shot her. It doesn't take much to kill a squishy if you hit them with knife, but if you throw it into the tank, it honestly doesn't do a lot. You can melee him every now and then to get the passive heals, um, but the knife into tank actually doesn't do much. Even the displacement you do on him, it's tanks have that like knockback resistance, and it's also the pull resistance for the knife. That's like, yeah, they don't give a shit. Okay, okay. Before we get to the setting goals stuff, do you have any more questions about the map that I skipped over, or that's still not clear, or I didn't explain properly?
No, I think it all makes sense. It's just that I need to be a little more aware of what I'm doing, and I need to be I need to understand what I think I just need to understand as well what the win conditions are, instead of just sending it and hoping that something works out.
Hmm. For scrim environment, for sure. Um, okay, yeah. So now you go into your next few competitive games. You go into your next scrim. Um, whatever. What goals? What do you want to work on? What do you want to get better on? What do you want to achieve? Um, within those next few scrims, competitive games.
I think my goals should probably be to use map geometry more than I have been, for especially for guides, um, and then also understanding how much space I can effectively take, without overstepping the boundaries.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a pretty important goal. Um, and I like that you said that for yourself. It's a bit hard to track, and um, it has to do with experimenting and trial and error. So what I can offer, like if you play some games and you put some clips together where you like jumped for space or jumped for engage and you died for it and you don't really understand why, or you look for a different option, then I can assist with that. Um, so if you, I don't know, if you save 10 or 15 clips or whatever where you were either jumping for space or jumping a high ground or jumping to engage and you died for it and you don't really understand why, or you don't see an alternative, um, then you can, yeah, save those up and send the bunch over to me, and we can go over each and every one and see what could have gone different in that scenario. Because obviously you can't cover everything that could potentially happen, because Overwatch is such a fast game and there are so many different um, values that can play in, and so much can be different from one game to another. So it's about um, experimenting, seeing what works, and understanding why things work and why things not work, and then apply this to other maps, to other games, to other scenarios. Um, so yeah, so I can assist in that way for sure. Okay, what else? Anything else?
I mean, I guess I should work. I mean, on my aim. I'm definitely very lackluster when it comes to tanks that require it.
I think that's less important.
Yeah, it's. I mean,
I guess if you want to play more Queen, then sure. Otherwise, yeah, that's nothing you really need to focus on. Maybe for especially team play, coordinating with your, especially DPS. Um, Make sure they know what's gonna happen. Make sure they have time to set up if they need time to set up. Um, the more the more effort you put into actually worrying about, okay, is my DPS gonna be with me? Do they have the option? Do they know I am gonna engage now? Like, just giving them the info and the resources, most of the time being time, um, to be with you. And if you set that base, you can then work on, okay, now they can always be with me. Next we can see, okay, are they actually always with me? And if they're not, why not? And then like fine tune. But then at some point we're always with, okay, every time we engage with a dive or something, my DPS are with me. And then we can work on, okay, are we on the same target? Do we actually go at the same time? Like, is timing clean? Do do we die before we manage to engage? Like, before we can fine tune and actually get to the actual dive, we have to set that base of, okay, we're actually together and on the same page. Um, that will need some time, so the earlier you focus on getting everyone on the same page, like, guys, okay, they're this high ground, is everyone ready? Do you need time? Okay, I want to rotate. Okay, I'm ready now. Okay, we can go. Like, that sort of stuff. Um, yeah. And if you need more detailed info about that, or we need another session about that, then ideally with comms and like see how can we properly communicate, and maybe I'll attend the scrim or something.
Alright. That sounds good.
Okay, so those two goals, good. That's more than enough, especially because they are both more or less abstract. So if you struggle or lose track of that, then hit me up again. Like, we'll try to get you back on track and help you out.
Okay.
Um, okay. If anything else?
Not that I can think of at the moment.
Okay, then I would call this pretty successful, and we'll see what you're gonna make off of it.
Yeah, we'll see if I can do a little more to help out the team.
Okay, nice.